Cool. We are officially recording.
Yay.
Yay.
Cool. Let's try how this goes.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done a pre-recorded podcast.
It has been, hey. And also just a shout out to everybody who's watching. Hello, BuildForce. And to anybody else who's catching this. This is our first, let's call it our first BuildCast for 2026, because it is that. But I feel like we are restarting our BuildCast formula. So, although this is not the first actual episode, let's call this our first Jeff and Paul build in the cast, BuildCast or something. I don't know. We'll workshop a name. As you guys can see on screen, it's basically just Jeff's hands and my hands working on what we're busy with at the time. And yeah, so just giving everybody a little bit of a primer on what this is. Jeff and I are going to be speaking about some things tonight. But before we get into all of that, I'm Paul, Mr. Asenwall, or aka Mr. Asenwall on Gunpla SA. This is, say hello, Jeff.
Jeff and aka Dr. Kelga, I suppose, from Gunpla SA.
And and this is a Gunpla SA BuildCast. So welcome everybody. And how this is going to go down. Okay, so Jeff and I are going to break this down into a bit of a format where it's kind of, we want it to be something that you guys can enjoy visually, but it is kind of a podcast, so it is something you can sit with in the background, maybe look up every now and then. We've got some topics, and tonight's topic is actually all about the BuildOff, our monster battles BuildOff. What's it? Monster battle?
Monster Showdown.
Monster Showdown BuildOff. So that's pretty cool. And so we're going to get into some details there. But first, just a quick thing. Jeff, are you well, my dude? How are things on your side?
Yeah, pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, how is your side?
Same. Having a bit of a busy week, which is quite normal for me, which is a good thing. It's been productive. I just recently did my first stream, or my second stream of the year. Which was on my Wolf, which is actually still here on my work table. And I'm quite excited. Actually, I did a few things after the stream. I actually went and put in all those panel lines after the stream.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I did the legs.
See the scribing and stuff.
Sweet, I will show you guys just now. And the thing there as well was, that's just to try and stick with that rule of, if you're going to start on something, try to finish that section, in the same evening, because coming back to something being halfway, or coming back to, you've done one, now you have 3 more to go, unless you've planned it in your mind to be good about it, to be on time and disciplined, sometimes it beats you, and it sucks. But yeah, and then the first thing that we're going to do now as well is quickly Gunpla SA news. Yay! What is happening in the world of Gunpla SA? What is happening in the world of Gunpla SA, Jeff? Is there anything notable you want to tell everybody?
Well, recently, so it's not news, it's kind of like a recap. So we had a huge resupply. Last week we also had the resupply of huge resupply in terms of paint as well. So yeah, that's really awesome. It's nice to see the whole Vallejo rack, all the new branding and the full rack and stuff. And obviously, we had the build meet last weekend. That was really cool to see some of the last year's championship BuildOff. The guys had bought it again or sent it to us, and then we put it in the display case. So that was really awesome. And this Saturday we've got the Gun card game tournament. So yeah, it's also really looking forward to that. And then so that's pretty much the news, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's pretty newsworthy. Is that why you said that you're going to be there?
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering about that. I was like, I'm sure you said something about being there, but I can't remember exactly why, because I lost track of time there. So I'm glad that you kind of reminded myself, because that's just me throwing things around. That was probably my decal tray, and no, it wasn't. Oh, no, it was, and yay, good news. All my deco papers, which were in that deco tray, have fallen out.
Ooh,
this is
sorry.
Me. That's okay. It's just it's a vacuum cleaner. It's a vacuum cleaner way. from being solved. Anyway, I'm just getting my tools and stuff ready because I had some of my tools with me by my
Are you going to
work.
be scribing while we're doing?
Yeah,
this?
actually, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, I might. I want to see. I might like because I'm still deciding on how I want to extend the legs. I'm scared of doing so. Like on my legs here on the thighs, I don't know if I want to extend. Well, I do want to extend the thigh, but I have to add pieces, and then I want to chamfer. I want to chamfer the sides here and get some detail. But that's if I decide to lengthen the legs. So I'm sort of like, ooh, don't want to get myself started there. But I have got a nice kind of don't want to say easy. But I've got a less intimidating, let's rather say that, section to scribe, which is quite nice. So it's the shoulders. So I just got to pop off these little booster things so that it makes my life easier. And then I got to pop the shoulders off.
Pause going into like
Build stream mode.
Yeah, like hardcore mode with yours. I'm just picking like easy mode. I'm just
what
like,
are you building?
The sanding nubs for the F90, yeah. So there's not much thinking required there. You just see the nub and you know, sand it away, I suppose. So, yeah.
Another thing that I feel like is worth mentioning in terms of Gunpla SA news is that we've got the BuildOff actually happening, which is the Monster Showdown, which was mentioned
so that's
earlier.
the main topic for today.
And that officially started on Sunday. So you guys need to get your kits. If you want to build, I suggest, and we're going to get into that, but I do suggest like you sort of get some ideas together and start getting your build ready and fill in your entry form so that you can submit, so you can do your submission, so you can get started. Or am I right? Does somebody have to start from the beginning? Okay.
Yeah. It's really cool that I see the entry so far, like people entering into the Masters and the intermediate. So hopefully we get to see some beginners enter in.
It's going to be insane because I'm glad that that we're doing the Masters thing because admittedly there was a part of me that was a little bit worried that maybe, and we always have this, folks. That you do something like, you change the formula up a bit and then people go like, oh wait, I don't want to do that, and then but it seems like people are getting into it, and
it's still the first week, so hopefully we'll see a lot more people enter in. But it would be cool if the BuildForce can like encourage each other to get into the competition as well. Make noise from your side. Because it's a team collaboration, right? It's a team effort.
Exactly that.
But yeah.
And
which, speaking about team effort, so like one of the things that we want to discuss is like we raised some, we put it to you guys in the community, like saying, okay, is there any questions from you guys? Because like obviously build-offs are not new. We've been doing it for a few years now, but I think this year we really changed like how we structure-wise. I think we're changing quite a bit. So it's not just like questions on the theme, but also like how we, like for example, the masters category is like new. So we've taken in some questions and we'll answer them. And also if we have any, like between Paul and myself, if we can think of any like questions that we can think on your behalf, and we'll like ask each other and answer on this BuildCast as well.
Which is quite noble of Jeff to say, but in all honesty, I'm probably going to ask like questions that I want to know. So hopefully it benefits you guys out there as well. Which actually brings me to one of my first questions about this BuildOff, and this is our main topic now, seeing as Gunpla SA news is kind of done for now. My main question, and this is for you, Jeff, is what are you like hoping to see? Like, and guys, like, I don't want to like freak anybody out. I'm just curious to hear what Jeff wants to see. What he's hoping to see.
I think with this with our themes, Monster Showdown, like it's before we decided on this theme, we had a chat between Paul and myself and also the guest judge. armor in this case.
Oh,
is
good.
that,
We're allowed to mention that. Okay.
Yeah. We want to keep it like pretty interesting, but also we at the same time we want to keep it quite broad, so that it's not everybody gonna be like creatively boxed in. So monster showed like in the whole concept of monsters, it's quite wide. It can be very literal or could be quite conceptual. So we mentioned on the last vlog that we did is like, if you think about like what first comes to your mind when you think about monsters, it can be like Godzilla or King Kong or like smaller monsters like your zombies, vampires, that kind of thing. But or werewolves, like whether it's Western monsters or Eastern monsters, that kind of thing. But those are quite literal. But it's quite interesting to like if you think of like the metaphorical monsters, like we mentioned, I mentioned on the vlog as well. It's like if we look at the RX-78-2, the classic Gundam, in anime, in a lore is that the Xeon Federation, the opposing team, they have like kind of a meme, is it, or classic sayings? They always say, like not even just the RX-78-2, but they often say, our Earth Federation like mobile suits monsters because they're so like overpowered. So,
because of the beam
so it's like, how do you? And I think this is interesting. Is like when we judge on creativity for the build-offs, we want to see how well people execute in their build. How well do they convey the message of the theme?
Okay, so that's what you're hoping to see, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
Or you order because it sounds dude, it just sounds like you're answering quite broadly. Guys, just a pro tip I always struggle with this with Jeff, and I'm putting him on the spot now. Sometimes if I ask him a question about stuff, he'll get into this mode where he will answer broadly.
Get into the weeds.
Yeah. And no, I don't mind you getting into the weeds, but he's very sneaky. He won't always tell you what he's thinking. He'll get into his groupthink mode, which is kind of funny because you're doing it now. You're also you're going, oh, okay, and it'd be cool to see this. And it's like you aren't making many like I statements there. You aren't going, oh, I think it would be cool if this is. But anyway, carry on. No, it's interesting, dude. It's interesting.
So those are some ideas, or even like I'm kind of throwing like free ideas out there now, but like somebody could take like is it GOG with the claws? GOG or High GOG or Z GOG or whatever, and do like a Totoro. Build, because Totoro is like a monster, right?
It is technically a monster, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's very much a monster.
You can do like a cross between, pick like so. Basically, look at one way is like you can take the kit that you want to do or the kit that you have, and say, okay, what kind of monster association do you see from this kit that you're working on? Basically play to his strengths.
Yeah. Trying to find. Yeah, I think that's good advice, dude. I threw out the question, so I'm going to answer my own question now as well. I'm kind of okay. Let me not get into too much here, because I also don't want to give away too many ideas. But I hope that I can maybe I don't know, maybe it's inspiring. I don't know, but I'm not the biggest Hatsune Miku fan. Okay, and this is going to sound crazy. Like, what the hell, Paul? You're talking about Hatsune Miku, but we're talking about monsters.
Yeah, where is this going?
But there's a Hatsune Miku statue that they did a long time ago, and I think they've kind of, in certain at certain points they've kind of re-released this because it's such a popular design, but it's like an evil version of Hatsune Miku.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I've never seen the evil.
So if you guys get a chance, go and Google Hatsune Miku evil mode or dark mode or whatever it's called, and go and check that out. Because why I'm bringing that up is because I am hoping that I see guys turn things twist things a bit, and I'd like to see. Yeah.
I think that would be like very interesting, like in terms of like scoring high on creativity. Is like, don't just do the straightforward ideas. Like
Yeah.
do the ideas and like where it will make the viewer feel engaged.
Yeah, be interesting.
Yeah,
But be interesting for yourself, firstly. I think that's the
yeah, of
important
course.
thing. And, and also be brave, guys. Like, nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? But, I think sometimes people play it safe because it's a competition. And you got the whole idea of wanting to win on your mind. But, the whole reason we do these build-offs, and I mean, yes, Gunpla SA likes to give away the prizes and all that good stuff. And, I won't lie, it's a nice business thing for us as well. But the reason that we do it, the actual genesis of the idea, before even Gunpla SA, is to get guys to really build their kits, to really like just get brave, get out there, try things with your kits, try, break some things. That's why Jeff and I love the 30-minute mission stuff so much, because it's really like very accessible. And so much of it is designed to not have much personality until you start
Yeah, it
putting it together.
invites customization. Yeah, or just easy kit bashing.
So yeah, I'm definitely hoping to see like guys twisting stuff. And when we talk about monsters, Jeff has actually touched on some cool sides of monsters, because he mentioned like Totoro now, which is cool, and I didn't think about that at all. I didn't give Totoro one like iota of a second, even in my brain as a monster for a kit. But I think if one of you guys does it,
Yeah, because
it'll be impressive,
Yeah, because I think quite commonly when we like think about monsters, is like, there's the violent side or the horror
Scary,
side.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, scary and all that intimidating feel. But like Totoro, he's in a very wholesome family anime, but he's still like, he would be considered as a monster,
Yeah, because
So it doesn't just have to be all like, scary stuff, which actually maybe that could be a segue into the next questions that somebody has asked, like how gory can we go? Should we segue into that?
yeah, I think that's a great question. Okay, so I'll give you some insight from my side before we talk about rules, because I think Jeff might get into the rule side of it, and I want to just get into maybe get into the judge's head here a little bit. For me, and I'm not speaking for Jeff or the other judge or Armor. For me, I just want to remind anybody, if you're going to do gore, firstly, it doesn't matter how much gore you do. If your basic concept is not strong, you can do all the gore in the world and it won't work. It'll just be lame. Okay. And so that's just something to remember before Jeff gives you the technical answer. I would say just be very careful with how you handle gore, because the problem with like using effects like blood and all that kind of stuff is that it's going to hurt the scale of your kit, and it might hurt the finish of your kit. So you really need to think about how can you implement that well. So that's just something I want to mention there with gore. And then I'll probably comment on whatever Jeff has to say now. But Jeff, how do you feel about gore? How does Gunpla SA's rules feel about gore?
Yeah, so I think I can speak on behalf of like all the judges that gore should be all right with us, as long, I think, because this build off is like an open thing to the public, that eventually when we showcase the builds, it's going to be out there in the world, and it's like represents a little bit of our brand as well, because it's our competition. And if we do take these builds in future to events or display them in public at, like, for example, Nexus Hub in the display case, or we take it to Hobby X or Comic Con or something.
Japan Festival,
it's a family setting, so which just keep that in mind. So a little bit of blood there, and maybe a bit of guts, that's okay. But like, as long as there's no nudity or there's something that's super extreme, then it should be all right. Like kids have seen zombies movies and stuff on TV, and they have their guts spilling out. So I think that should be all right.
Yeah, I think yeah, I mean, on that topic as well, I also, and maybe even not to discourage you guys as well. I mean, if you want to go like super gory and stuff like that, and let's just say you do happen to win, for example, there's just a high chance that we might not be able to take your kit on tour, because it might, some people might be sensitive. But at the same time, it's so easy. It's so easy to offend certain people's sensibilities as well. Like, Jeff and I might think that, something that you guys have done is a bit tame, and somebody else might think it's like super bad. So you guys, so that's why I would say come from an artistic point of view. If you're going to be gory, be artistically gory, be smart, or be ridiculous, but own it. Jeff, you touched
maybe
on nudity.
just consider like chatting with your family members or show it to them, or like on sketch maybe before you do it, and just see what their reaction will be. If your grandma is like all right with it, then it should be okay. But again, like, I don't
if your
want to
grandma's
get into
all right with it,
religion
maybe you
and
need to
all that
push it
stuff.
more. Sorry. If your grandma's like, oh, that's nice, you should be like, oh god, this needs to be more metal. Like, maybe, you guys have to figure that out, like, for yourselves, and figure out your own expression. I don't want you guys to feel like you're censored or being restrained. So the official answer on that is, be smart with your gore, and be considerate with your gore, I suppose. But I don't know, like, I'm on the just go rock and roll, man. Just go full rock and roll. Sorry, it's just I don't mind people being offended, but I like about with stuff. Jeff, although you did touch on something about nudity, and I do kind of want to touch on that briefly. But and guys, if you can make a model kit scary and it scares a small child or an adult or something, I'll be so proud. I'm sorry. I know maybe Jeff doesn't want me to say that or something, but I would be so impressed. I love horror movies. I love scary stuff. So, like, for me, if I was a kid and I saw like a really cool, scary looking Gundam, that might get me into like building Gundam, like little me. Into it. So,
I would also be really impressed.
I'll be very impressed. Guys, regarding nudity, sort of, Jeff, you like kind of touched on it, and I do feel like that's one day going to be a question. With nudity, I personally don't mind it because I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of when it comes to the human body. But I do think depictions of sex, you have to be very careful with, because that we actually can't by law show in public, even if it's and then the artistic merit of it will probably get debated. And I just, maybe don't use a Gunpla essay competition as your forum for that kind of expression. I would say, but the thing with nudity is that there's a lot of miniatures that have nudity, for example. And again, I don't have a problem with it. I just do think we have to just be very careful with depictions of sex.
It's a different, whether it's our personal takes. Like, I think both you and I, like, we personally don't have an issue with it, but we just got to think about like our audiences,
Yeah, I guess that there's just conversations that people want to have with their kids that maybe shouldn't be inspired by a model kit, that they saw at a festival or at Hobby X or something, But by all means, it is freedom. And I also don't think it's a bad idea. And God, this sounds a bit like soft cock to say, sorry, but it might not be a bad idea if you have an option part that you can use to maybe like, cover it up, as opposed to Jeff and I maybe having to put a black piece of cardboard or something over it and be like naughty bits.
Like sensor bars and stuff.
But then again, you're always going to get those kids that are going to like look at the display case and run away and be like, "Yee, I saw boobs." So, like, there is that side of it too. But that's one question. Jeff, there is another question in there, I feel. And also just compliments to you on conveying the rules correctly and very thoroughly in our guide, because we didn't actually get as many questions as I thought we would.
Yeah.
Which is like not a bad thing.
Actually, speaking about that, so like we did the survey we put it out there. And I was expecting quite a few questions because, there's been quite a few changes in our formats and stuff. Well, like a little bit. But yeah, there wasn't too many questions, actually. A lot less than I expected. So that means, I suppose that's a good thing because
you're doing
I hope everybody's like quite clear. But yeah.
Yeah. So another question I have is, we've spoken about the horror side of monsters. We've spoken about the gore side. We've spoken about, but we've kind of touched on Totoro, but
yeah, there's also like the psychological side of like
the conceptual side of things.
Like if we look at the recent, even if I take like a page from Gundam, like the recent with the Requiem for Vengeance, that like there's like that classic scene that they use in the posters where like the main character, like the female Xeon pilot, it's like is being looked down by the EX Gundam, like through the trees and stuff. And it was like it was a night scene with like the kind of demon red eyes from the Gundam. So in that sense, like if you do that scene, with the whole trees and the dark lights and the eyes light up, then it's like cool. Then that's really communicates the theme visually. So it doesn't mean like, oh, when you say Monster Showdown, it has to be organic monster or something. It can still be within like mecha and stuff. But it's just like how you like, especially when you take photos, like how do you take your photos and your lighting? So it's not even just your build anymore. Like consider how everything works together to communicate that this thing has like a monster motif to it. So it's your lighting, it's your background, it's your diorama, it's your camera angle, like shoot low angle, shooting up with something. It makes things feel more intimidating.
Yeah, that's definitely, and these are just some basic approaches, guys. I mean, I feel like we're going to get to the advice for the BuildOff section of this topic soon, which is, Jeff said it earlier, and I actually love the words that you use because he said, like, what is the first thing you think of when you hear the word monster? And, it's an interesting concept there because the first thing you think of might not be the first thing you should do, or at least don't stop at your first thought. Like, kind of have your first thought, and then explore it. Like don't just be like, okay, well, I've just thought about what I'm gonna do, and really explore it. You might come back to your first.
How do you take it even further?
Yeah, like a lot of the times it happens that you do end up going with your first thought, and it ends up being like quite successful. And
but have options,
but exactly, like kind of see if your thought has got legs by exploring other things and put those other thoughts up against your original thought in a battle kind of thing. And that battle should be, what am I trying to say? And I know I'm getting a bit like maybe art school here on this kind of thing, but this stuff matters, man. Like it matters because if you keep it consistent, like what is the feeling I'm trying to convey with my build throughout the whole process, and even if you put it on like a piece of masking tape and you stick it on your shelf or something in front of you, like me, I could like stick it like over here off camera, which you can't see, and I can always see that and be like, oh, I wanted to scare the shit out of grandmothers, and that could be like, and then I'm always asking myself this question: it's like, am I scaring
how do you
grandmas?
achieve that?
And that will actually influence a lot of your sort of decisions. It might even influence the way you panel line or scribe, or I don't know. Just, and then if you're thinking of psychological horror, there's some great ideas there. I mean, I don't want to share what's right on my mind now because fear is a fun thing to play with when it comes to monsters. I would say, guys, just please be careful with the idea of fear when it comes to this stuff. Not in like, don't make your monster scary or something, or don't make your kid scary or whatever. That's not what I'm trying to get at. It's just, remember the theme is very much monsters. And so I think it's important. And it's actually, I'm going to ask you this question now as I'm like saying this. Jeff, do you feel like if the competition is about monsters, that there should be a monster in the build? Like that should be the focus, like a monster in some form or another.
Yeah. Well, as long like you show people your build and like maybe they will like look at your build and they ask you, oh, what is this build about? And you say, oh, it's about like this build I submitted into competition's theme, which was Monster Showdown. And when you say the theme of the build, they can go, oh, okay, I get it. Then you've achieved it, So, coming back to when you talk about horror and all this kind of like, think about the feeling that you want to achieve with your build and see, okay, how strong is your build to achieve that emotive like goal that you have set. It doesn't also like I'm going 180 degrees the other side now. It also doesn't have to be horror, and scary and all that stuff. It can be cute and like and like so. For example, Monsters Inc. It's taking like monsters that's like maybe if they drawn it in a different way, it could be like very scary. But obviously, Monsters Inc. being a family-friendly film is like they took the concept of monsters, but they made them, cute for kids. So it can also go the other way around. It's like, okay, think about this feeling that you want to convey with your monsters. Like, okay, you want to make them feel cute. Then you can look at, like, for example, the references of Monster Inc. or other Totoro or whatever, So yeah, it doesn't have to be just one way. Yeah, and also when you're talking about like thinking if your idea have legs and the art school stuff is like actually that just reminded me a very good comment from my lecturer back when I was studying multimedia design is that he says like often your first idea is your shittest idea because oftentimes your first idea is like the common idea that everybody has like first jump to. So not saying okay, maybe you have a fluke where your first idea is great, but just I think what we're trying to say is like don't stop at your first idea. Like let it ponder a little bit, and maybe think about evolving that idea, or you think about another idea and you start like weighing them. Like maybe come up with 3, for example, and you try and like refine each one, and you can compare notes. Okay, where's the pro in that and where's the con in that, and you can like start fusing them maybe. And also just again coming to think about like what is the feeling that you want to convey with your build visually, and see, okay, does your idea convey what your goal or your intention?
Exactly that. Yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, and then where do you find references and whatever's for this kind of stuff? So like we've said it a few times, Jeff mentioned now with lighting, look into like if you're trying to go for the horror thing, look into horror movies and how they light up scenes. If you but otherwise then look at like old tokusatsu, like the old Godzillas. Look how they lit that up and what made, like what are the things that give it a sense of scale or a sense of fear. I remember when I first saw Godzilla, and it was and this is a cool thing to say, having already had I had already watched Friday the 13th and those kind of horror movies before, and then I watched my first Godzilla, which was Godzilla vs King Ghidorah. And the thing that was like quite amazing about that is that when Godzilla is stomping around, it's actually quite frightening, actually. Like, as much as like I was a kid that was into horror movies and stuff like that, Godzilla is quite a frightening thing, actually. And I love the, I love that I felt that fear, that I could look back and be like, wow, Godzilla actually scared me, and that's like a cool thing to have. So again, think of what like freaks you out, with this stuff, and go there. Take us on a journey. So like horror movies are a good place to look at other people's builds. It's quite hard to, I'm sure a lot of you guys have Googled like Gundam Monster and stuff like that, and you probably struggle to find something.
Or even like the Devil Gundam,
Yes.
There's lots of
Devil Gundam
monster
was very well actually presented, hey? As like the whole thing with Devil Gundam was actually quite scary, like the way they did it. I mean, it was scary. Yeah, it's the thing about a G Gundam that takes it from being maybe a bit hokey and childish to being quite serious is the dark side of it. Yeah, the dark side of G Gundam is actually a very cool thing. Yeah. Then I'm busy playing a game called Blasphemous. That's got some great imagery as well. Yeah, like, so coming back to me asking that question I asked you earlier, which is what am I hoping to see? Again, just twist it. Like, I think I'm just very excited to see kits that like either twist things and are really creepy. That's what I'm hoping to see. But I'm always excited about the surprise, the wonder. What is the thing that you're going to bring that we're not expecting, and that's always a fun thing about these competitions.
Yeah, and I think also maybe it's quite important to like put it out there is that try not to give yourself too much pressure. So like not everybody's like the creative type, right? So if you can't think of like, oh, how can I make this creatively, super unique and like to the monster theme, like even like if you just want to do a standard Gundam that's like kind of to the theme already, like let's say you have a Ep01 Gundam. Ep01 Gundam is kind of based on like two-headed dragon, which is a monster, right? So, and with him already having wings and his whip, he's already got like lots of monster motif to it already.
Yeah.
So you could do that and still valid. It's just that maybe creatively you'll be scored a bit lower, but you could do something that makes it very
monstrous.
Yeah. Like he's maybe like crash landing on a like little person like thing, and he's gonna like, I don't know, just do some crazy stuff or again, you guys can think of some ideas, but you don't need to do like really creative builds out there, just to fit within the theme.
Yeah, shame, Jeff. Thank you for saying that, man, because I think sometimes I forget that like I'm saying this stuff and I'm like, oh, this is what I'm hoping to see. But I don't want people to like get like so freaked out and be like, oh my God, I've got to do this. Otherwise, nobody's going to be impressed with me.
Yeah. I think like, especially for the beginner category is like, just have fun with it. I think it's when we talk about like pushing the theme and all that, it's more for like I think the masters category maybe. So
and the
it's not the expectations we have across the board kind of thing.
Yeah.
But hey, like we've seen lots of surprises in the beginner category as well. Like for example, Weapon Ech.
Yes, the zombie Gundam.
The zombie Gundam, and also like in the championship BuildOff last year, there was a Blastoise. Which is like Pokemon theme, but it's also a Pokemon monster. So those things are very monster-esque, So
there you go, guys. That's like exactly it. It's a cool way of approaching that. How's your sanding going?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Good.
How's your? Are you also just doing some sanding?
I'm sanding now because I've just done some scribing, but I've got one more piece of these shoulders to do some notching or some etching into, and then at least it's good. I'm just sanding just to clean up some of the stuff, and I just want to just see if because I got like a little bit of a crazy line on the one, and I just want to see if I sand it, if I can just get sand it a little bit, maybe I can correct that line. Sometimes that happens. Otherwise, I'm just going to need to put some putty in and then like rescribe it. But I don't think that'll be the case. And I think this would have happened irrespective of if we were doing a chat together or not. This is the kind of thing that
I quite enjoy this type of BuildCast where we're both working on our own kits. Then
you're not like staring
something new,
in the corner of your room or like trying to make eye contact with your camera and hoping like nobody notices your weird eye twitch or something. No, you don't have a weird eye twitch, dude, and I don't think I do. But it's just a thing. Something that I wanted to mention, like you keep throwing out X Gundam from Requiem for Vengeance because it's such a great and quite a current reference as well. But who's also a damn good monster in the Gundam series? Actually, I feel like this is a nice pivot point for this. Like monsters in Gundam, Jeff. Like think about like 1 or 2 Gundam in your mind that feel like monsters, or not just Gundam,
Like,
mobile suits.
I think just in the recent showing, because like we've got the movie coming out
Yeah,
now, the Cassie and Penelope, that both of them feel very like monster-esque, you know. So
totally, totally. You know, one of your favorite mobile suits, if not your absolute favorite mobile
the
suits,
Goof
which is,
Custom,
yes, he is
yeah,
such a
like
monster in that anime. Yo,
yeah, but even just like most of the Xeon suits, you know, with the mono eye and stuff, it's very like your Zaku's, your Goofs. Pretty much like all most of the Xeon mobile suits, like it's an easy monster motif because like it's based on like the ogre, right?
Ogre, yes, that's
yeah.
right. Yeah, and what's it? Oni. Yeah, like what's the other name? Not the other name for it, but what's the other classification of
Oni.
Japanese demon? Yeah, it's Oni. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is another one. I just can't think of it right now. It'll come to me, and I'm sure one of you guys are
Yokai.
screaming.
You know about
Yokai, yes.
yokais.
Yeah, there's the yokai thing as well. Yeah, so I was about to say, I'm sure somebody's screaming at the screen right now or at their listening device going, guys, it's a yokai, duh. I watched Yokai Watch when I was a kid, / adult, whatever, and like, duh. Or somebody is going to be like, I played Neo. I'm like, I've also played Neo, but guess what? I also forget shit.
Yeah, I think actually is it the Zoc? It feels like
Yes.
a kappa.
Yes, it does feel like a copper. Yeah.
Because it's got a bit of a beak feature in the front, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so he's got like a bit of a missile dome head that looks like the kappa's, so.
Bald head, yeah, which, yeah, then the trick with the copper is to get it to bow to you. You can hit the soft spot on its head. Don't know if you know that.
Yeah, so yeah, again, certain kits you don't have to do as much creative work to make them work into the monster scene, you know.
And Jeff,
play to your strengths.
you know, like I actually just thought of a question now, and it just came to me. What about like, so I got this cool kit of Jiangxi, which is known as a Chinese vampire or Chinese zombie is another way of looking at it. It's jumping zombie, jumping vampire, whatever. And that kit's already got like a monstrous feature to it. How do we feel about people entering a kit that is already sort of a monster from the beginning? You know?
Yeah, I think that's fine. It's just that, okay, like you gotta, because for you to score creatively, we can't score you something that you haven't done, you know. If it's already a monster, but like, okay, you gotta do something more to it so that we can.
Yeah, how are you going to sell it? Yeah.
Like for us to assign points for you into creativity, it has to be something that you've done and not something that you've just gotten as a base kit. So whether it's the Jiangsu kit that you've got or any like Pokemon or Digimon kit, you know, out of a box, they already have that monster motif, but it's like for us to score you on creativity, you have to put in, you know, your creativity into it.
Cool, man. Yeah. Because that, I gotta say, I do like that kit quite a lot.
Yeah, maybe that could be your build along.
Yeah, maybe, but then I got to paint her and like, yeah, she's already quite good out of the box. I must say,
Or
I've
you
got
can
so
do
many.
like panel lining or just add some weathering or, yeah.
I feel like this might be cheating, but I've still got a design. Long ago, you and I were going to do a 30-minute missions thing.
Oh yeah,
You
you've
actually
got your
did yours.
you've got your Tengu.
My Tengu, yeah, exactly. So I have quite a lot of love for like monsters in Eastern culture, like the Tengu and Oni and Yokai and Kami.
Yeah,
And
maybe it's time that
Kami
kit gets a bit of a primer and paint onto it. Huh?
Yeah, and also some sunlight. Needs sunlight. Not the soap. It's clean. It's in a box, but just I think it needs to see the sun. Yeah, that's totally a thing. Yeah, maybe I should
Speaking
do
about
that.
build along, yeah. So I want to see if I can achieve this. Let me just grab it because I've got it. Like you guys have seen it maybe in my background with my, you know, photos and stuff. It's this guy.
Oh,
because Metal Gear Rex it's based on like, as the name implies, it's got a very dinosaur T-Rex feeling, right? So
Yep.
so monster motif right here. So yeah.
Yeah. There you go. And yeah, you answered one of my questions earlier when I asked you what other so you mentioned the Zoc from are there any other suits? Like you mentioned the Zoc and you mentioned the Penelope and the Cassie being monster-like. I mentioned the Goof. And yeah, and then we got into a whole thing about them being kind of ogre-like. Are there any other suits that you think are kind of
I think
scary?
maybe Iron-Blooded Orphans Gundams, because they have the names based on demons. So like
Yeah,
the Barbatos Lupus kind of based on the wolf or werewolf.
Yeah.
I think Iron-Blooded Orphans might be an easy one because a lot of their suits have it's based on demons as their main theme.
It's also got that cool open thin body side to it that gives it that kind of scarier kind of feel as well. So maybe that's a bit of a hack, guys. So it's like they're not terribly scary from the beginning. Well, I wouldn't say they're not scary, but like that's also a good foundation to work off because they're quite skeletal.
I think if you were to do like Iron-Blooded Orphans into this build-off to score higher on creativity, like you have to do like in a monstrous battle
some kind of
pose
berserk mode,
and, yeah, berserk mode, and like destroying like another mech, ripping it apart. Actually, when you're talking about berserker mode, even berserk anime or not anime, like just the IP, the manga and stuff.
Yeah.
Where Guts gets the berserker armor, he also transforms into like the demon.
Yep.
So there's that idea as well. So yeah.
Yep. There's that too. So there's lots of like cool things that you can consider. Remember we have also got 30-minute fantasy kits as well, which I feel there's lots of cool stuff. I mean, I say we because obviously we got it, and it's not a bad idea for us to pump the store every now and then. But
which recently we got in the Dragoneer Knight, which is like kind of a dragon knight. So there's a bit of monster built into it, or even just the normal knights and stuff. Like you can do a whole monster hunter theme to it.
Yes.
So you can build your BuildOff as like a hunter, and he's like hunting a monster, so like chopping off a tail or something like that. One of the questions was about the base, was it?
Oh, yes.
Portability,
yeah, that was I think I feel like you I feel like I'm not practical enough to let me rephrase that. I'm not thinking of some of the practicalities with that. So I think you need to answer that one for
okay, all right. So yeah, the question was general question on portability. Should the kit / display be able to easily disassemble for transport, fit in travel case, etc.? I'll say if you can pull it off, then go for it. Because the easier it is for us to or even for you to do the setups and stuff, then for us going to events and stuff, then we don't have to struggle too much with it. Because I'm always trying to imagine what happens if we need to set up everybody's builds when we take to events. Let's say it's 20 builds, and each of them take about maybe 5 minutes to set up, then that's great, But if we have a very finicky build, there's loose parts or nothing's if there's stuff that's not stable on the base or the display, then it's just not ideal. We don't want to spend an hour on your kit, and then having struggles with it. So do your best to keep it travel and setup friendly. That'll be great.
It'll also just be good for you as well when you're moving it around. Like if you move house or something, have something that, especially if you're proud of it and you want to keep it for a long time, have something that's easy to move around. Guys, even if you have it in a display case, that that's also like kind of helpful to us sometimes as well. Not necessarily like keeping it there, but just being able to transport it. But yeah, I hope we answered your question, dear question person,
Dear viewer.
dear viewer, dear questionnaire, but that's not really the correct thing. Questionnaire? No, wait. Anyway, yeah, so that's pretty cool. I'm trying to think now. There was something I wanted to throw out for this whole bit as well. What are... Oh, I feel like this is controversial. Maybe I shouldn't ask this. And I feel like we've kind of answered this already. But what would we caution a builder against? Now I'm talking about intermediate and master builders here. What are the things that we feel that you guys should just be very careful of when it comes to your scoring? And obviously, guys who are beginners, you guys can totally take some notes. I think there's some notes here that are definitely worth following for you. But please don't freak out about this as much. I think the first one for me, a big one, and then I'm going to hand the mic over to you, Jeff, is a big one that I'm hoping for is just well taken orthographic shots, please. Like your front, sides, and back. Please just take good front, sides, and back. It's very, very irritating for me, especially when I get your front, sides, and backs and they're a little bit out of focus, or something's like out of the shot, or or you've just like bleached the background too much with, I don't know, just please just try and keep those strong, because that's actually the thing that's going to score you the real points. The money shot is the art, it's your voice, that's cool, but the thing that's going to score you your points is your turnaround photo. There we go, fix the funny line. Cool.
Yeah, I think it's quite understated how important photography is in your presentation. So really, I always like to just emphasize try not to rush your photography. Give yourself enough time, a few days if you can. Finish your build, try and finish your build a week before the final submission deadline. And then you have the week to take photos, and then you spend your session, take your bunch of photos, and then load them into the computer. And then start zooming in, or just take a good look at them, and or even let it sleep on it and look at them with fresh perspective and fresh eyes the next day, and see, okay, how can you, even if you're happy with the photos, just try and take a new set of photos so we have A/B comparison. So okay, maybe your new photos is not as strong as your new photos, but at least you've taken a whole different sets that you can have a comparison, because
life is short and we don't want to miss out on the brilliance of your kit. You know how many times I've seen a kit in person where I've gone, oh crap, if this thing only had better photos, it would have done so much better. How many times, guys, pretty much every time, as they say in Anchorman, 60% of the time it works all the time. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the thing. So please just be very disciplined with your photography, and that's good advice that Jeff's given you as well. So.
I think especially for guys who's in the masters category, especially, where we've pretty much reached a point where it feels like in terms of build quality and your paint jobs, the technical execution on those fronts is they're getting so neck and neck with each other. So what will really set each other apart in especially in the masters category is that it's your creativity and your presentation, which includes your photos. It's your photos, it's your lighting, it's your composition of your photography, and all of that. So those two pillars is that it will make your build, whether it's a top 3 or lower. So yeah, really keep that in mind.
Cool. And I think Jeff, is there anything else that's hiding inside you advice-wise that you want to get into with the BuildOff? Is there anything else that you want to throw out there for our listeners?
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head at the moment. Is anything from your side?
Yeah, I just want to remind guys just to have fun.
Yeah,
I mean, this sounds like
as
an
always.
obvious thing, but yes, as always, please remember to have fun with your builds. Keep if you just a reminder as well that if you don't feel strong in your skill, remember that if you do something really well within your skill set, okay, it will still it could stand up against somebody else who's like, how do I put it? If you I don't want to say play it safe, but if you are too scared to do something crazy, but you're very confident in your painting and your cleaning of nubs, but you're very scared of like doing panel lines or, extending arms or adding pieces to your kit, then do the best version of what is in your skill set, totally. And have faith in that, because a lot of the times, if you don't place top 3 with that, then it doesn't mean that you built a bad kit. It just meant other guys built a very good kit and did extras, you know. But if you go and build a kit and you go and like put extras on it, but it's still got nubs and it's still got like stuff going on with it that doesn't look finished, then that's gonna bug you, because you're not really gonna know why you lost. It's gonna be a combination of things. So I think keep it simple is kind of what I'm trying to say. Keep it simple. And for the masters specifically, I say keep it simple, but then break the glass just a little bit. You don't have to like shatter the ceiling. And the fact I actually feel like mentioning is, if you look at some of the winners for our competitions, you'll often see the guys who won are often the guys who haven't actually done much in the way of scribing or anything like that.
Yeah,
they haven't
get the
like
basics right,
Right, yeah. They've actually guys who have just really done a good job with the basics, and yeah, and so that's also why we did the masters. And I'm curious to hear from you guys in the comments. If you think the masters is a good idea, is a good category from the community. It seems like it was a good decision. So there's that. Then the other thing I just wanted to just remind you guys about is, again, it's not about winning. Jeff and I are talking
It's
about
about
scoring high. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
about
about creating a good build for your own self, that you
exactly.
can proudly look back and say, oh, okay, I created this very unique piece that's like, nobody else has in the world,
And I feel like I've successfully confused everybody as well. No, I say that
But yeah,
because the thing is with this kind of advice is advice can be contradictory. On one hand, I'm telling guys play safe. On another hand, I'm telling guys to take a risk. But I hope that the people who need to hear those pieces are listening. And then
but
as we head on,
some people's playing it safe is to push themselves, So I think
yes,
especially our comments in our championship is that a lot of the times, at least for myself, is like I would say, you guys on the right track. It's just about pushing it a little bit further, like exaggerate it a little bit more. Take the idea and just push it further, or take the pose and just push it further,
a lot of the
or your
times it's
paint job, that
pose.
kind of thing. So yeah.
A lot of the times pose is also a thing that you guys can push quite hard on. But I am worried now that we are getting to this point where we've shared a lot of advice, we've said a lot of things. Maybe just listen back once or twice, or skim to parts of this episode that you thought were useful. I am very aware that some of the advice that we are giving may sound contradictory in some respects, but it is for the right person, for who is listening to it. And so, please just understand who that advice might be for. And that's also a part of the creative process, is understanding what your lesson is, But before we go, Jeff, have you seen anything interesting in the world of Gundam right now, like out there? Like, have there been any model kits released or shown off this month that you thought were kind of interesting? Or has there been any news in the card game? Anything interesting that you picked up on?
Well, I'm just kind of looking forward to the new Hathaway movie.
Oh, big time, dude. Me
Yeah,
too. Me too. Big fan of Hathaway.
I'm actually curious if Bandai will like do some shadow drop announcement when the movie like is. I think is it tomorrow or Saturday? I think it's tomorrow. Hey, Friday. Fridays usually when the new, so it's from tomorrow,
I really hope we get some information, because I feel like there's enough in there to be valuable. You know, like we've already seen, you know, I think we might see an upgrade of the Mesa, or a different form of the Mesa. There's quite a few things. I mean, we can speculate, but yeah, let's just see what Bandai does with that.
It'd be great if they are retail releases as well.
Yeah, that would be the ultimate. That would be the best. And then you know, it's Gundam related. It's kind of Gundam adjacent. I see Mechanical, who I actually thought, from what I understood, I thought they closed down, but it seems like they're still around, and they've done a Noah Zeal, and it's 1:144 scale, and yes, it is the size of a small child, or a big child actually.
It's kind of like the Neo Xeon situation, yeah.
It's exactly that, and the scary thing is it's actually a bigger mobile suit than the Neo Xeon. So, yeah, dude. Yeah, that kind of thing's crazy. And I mean, my first response when I saw it was, that's really cool. And I know, and this is where I just want to be careful, like, where I am older, I am a builder that's been doing this for a long time. You know, Jeff and I have seen some shit. But I am a little jaded, I must be honest, because I think had I seen that when I was in my 20s, I think I would have lost myself. I would have been like, oh my god, you know, like, that is amazing. And I know that I can sort of relate to that, because I remember when Mechanical did their Physalis, their well, I don't know what they called it, but the GPO1. I always thought that was a pretty amazing kit. Well, pretty amazing looking, you know, as a build, like quite insane, lots to do, lots to sand. I don't know. The appeal to those kits is like a good mix between masochism and excitement, I suppose.
Yeah, I think we've reached days where we appreciate smaller kits, actually. I think that's why the RG line is like taking off more than the MGs, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, we can fit more in our house as well, which is also a bonus. Yeah. So for Gundam news, that's the one thing that I saw that I just thought was kind of interesting. Mechanical is not something that we can get, that Gunpla SA can get. In fact, I don't know if any stores will really get it for you, just because they are very pricey, and I think the guys, I think they prefer that you deal with them directly. I've heard of some shops buying them and then selling them, but it's not something that they're like stock per se. So before you think of asking, guys, please don't. It will be a real bear. I think realistically, I mean, you're looking at about 20K, I think, for those kits, more or less, close to. For us in South Africa, if you want to bring one in. I know that a couple of years ago, in the ye old years of 2015 or whatever, I was looking at what's called the T-Sturmer, which is, it wasn't even that long ago, but I remember looking at their version of the XS, and working it out with the shipping and everything, and I was like, wow, I could buy a Mac. So yeah, so maybe I'm talking out of my ass. Maybe I'm misremembering. I mean, this does happen, but yeah, we can't bring them in, so I do apologize for that. But yeah, that's the only thing I could actually see that was like sort of big Gundam news wise, other than of course the movie. Yeah, and I think just coming back to my kit, I've successfully I've successfully put holes in all of these. I mean, grooves in all of these now, so I'm very happy. So that's one step closer to this kit getting there. And guys, I always talk about the power hour, the hour of power, should I say? And this is what I'm talking about. You know, you can get a lot done in an hour, even if you are talking shit with your friend.
Yeah, I think I've done quite a bit today.
Yeah, actually.
Podcast. So yeah, looking forward to us trying this new format out more.
Yeah.
To, like, you know, help Paul and I get through some of our, you know, work in progress backlogs and stuff. But I think this will be great to like put it to you guys, you know, like drop comments, or even on our Discord, some like your comments about like this kind of podcast, or what would you like us to chat about, in this kind of format, we've got some ideas of going over communities builds and stuff. And the Discord showcasing that. But yeah, we can even do like, obviously that's going to require a little bit of multitasking on your side, Paul, I think.
Yeah, one of us will have to drive it and the other one will have to talk, build.
Yeah.
But I'll make you build.
Oh, shot, man.
Yeah, because
it's cool new things to try out,
Yeah. Oh, shot, dude. Yeah, and I think so. And I mean, this is fun. We've got quite a nice plan for something I'm quite excited about, which is one of the reasons that prompted this format. Sometimes I love spur of the moment decisions, because they actually tend to, sometimes they work out really well. But it's because it's a spur of the moment decision on top of like 2 years of indecision on something. Yeah, it's like the brain is like now formulated an answer. It knows what it wants. But yeah, guys, that is us for now. That clocked in just over an hour, so we hope that you enjoyed your time with us, and we look forward to your comments, and thank you for your likes and subscribes on this as well. That's really cool of you, and for following the channel, and just generally just being awesome. And Jeff, what do we always like to say to people?
Yeah, as always, be good to ourselves, be good to each other, and keep building or sanding joy. Here's a pie piece for you guys.
We see there's my lunches.
There, dunk. Gently into
Cheers,
the camera.
guys.